Hey, this is Zaragon here. I wanted to talk about this tree of British rock that I just remembered. I first saw it back in 1988 at a movie theater in the Boston area, and I was more interested in just standing in front of it and studying all the names in it than I was in going to see the movie I was there to see. And uh, about 5 years ago, I remembered it and I looked it up, and luckily I found it online. And more recently, this past week, I thought of it again, and this time found much higher resolution scans of it. I believe it was made three times. It was made in 1979, the first earliest one that I know about, this one right here. Then it was made again like in 1987, and then finally another in 1990. I've got the 1991 in high resolution too, but I'm just going to go over some of this. There's a lot to take in here. This is the kind of thing where you can study all the names and then like make make notes, and then heck, you can use this on your Discogs, um, you know, research of British rock history. Here down in the trunk, we have um, starting at the roots, we got some American acts that influenced English rock. And then right around here, we have Cliff Richard and, the Shadows, the beginnings of Alexis Corner, the beginnings of UK homegrown rock. Homegrown rock. And then you get right here to the base of the tree, and you have the big names of the first British invasion: the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, um, the Animals, Manfred Mann. Uh, a couple of these are hard to read. The Pacemakers, the Mindbenders, the Searchers. Hermits, Hermits. I don't know if they deserve to be this deep down into the black background. And then, okay, luckily out of the darkness here, the Kinks, the Zombies, the Who, the Yardbirds. Yeah, pretty much sealing off the small faces, sealing off the first wave of British rock, the Trogs. And then let's see, if we go in this direction to the right, I saw uh, an interview with the guy responsible for this. Yeah, Bruce Burton, the guy responsible. And explained that he has the Beatles and the Rolling Stones on uh, opposite sides of the trunk. And I guess it's supposed to branch out. The outgrowths of each band in the annals of British rock are supposed to go in, like kind of like in are supposed to V out from one another. And so the Stones influence uh, veers toward the right of the tree growth, and the Beatles goes to the left. And well, the way we see it anyway, they're right. It's and so on this side we have stuff that the Stones influenced, of course, the Yardbirds, Jeff Beck. We're going into like some blues rock and hard rock here, like Steam Packet, uh, and Brian Auger, Shotgun Express. Yeah, that was Rod Stewart's early band, I think. John Mayall, Mick Taylor. Oh, interesting. And then in the middle, I guess you have kind of the stuff that's sort of in between the pop and the blues R&B influence. Yeah, we go over here and we go into like heavy metal, hard rock. Some of this gets cut off. There are lesser quality uploads that show the full length of the branches here. And so you just go through this and you kind of wonder what is like everyone there. This is very thorough for something done in like 1979. It's really impressive that then American music aficionado would have known this much about um, British rock. like on so many levels and layers. I mean, um, this almost leaves no stone unturned. Let's see, as we go here, we have the people that you would expect to see, like the Pretty Things, Rod Stewart, Joe Cocker, Pete Townsend. A lot more solo artists are listed than I would expect. Funny enough, UFO, Foghat, Deep Purple, Rainbow, of course, and then we got some that you wouldn't quite expect. Until you understand just how deep he's digging. Like Love Sculpture, I'm impressed there. Trapeze, good. Quatermass, he's got Lord Such, but without the screaming. I wonder why he would be up in here. He was like an early British rocker. Status Quo, of course. Um, Edgar Broughton Band, interesting that they would be put in with this group. This says Illusion. I'm wondering what they're doing here. I would kind of put them elsewhere, but then again, a few things may be sort of out of place just because of where they ended up fitting. Because imagine it's a really impressive work to take all of these logos and find a way to like maze them all into a cluster like this. Hummingbird, yeah, mid '70s funk rock. Um, Kevin Coyne, his solo career, interesting. That he Shaking Stevens, oh yeah, Welsh 50s rock revivalist. And then we go up in here, and it's kind of strange what we see. Oh, Fat Mattress, Tucky Buzzard, a little bit out of place in the hard rock realm. Fat Mattress being kind of, like folk psychedelic folk rock. Tucky Buzzard, another early hard rock band. We go over here, and we've got Magna Carta, very soft, folky act. I don't know why Keith Moon merits a solo mention. He didn't really do anything as a solo artist. Camel. I wonder what they're doing in this group. Because symphonic rock is way over here. Let's see, Detective, interesting. Foreigner are actually in here, but I think they get cut off in this scan. Oh yeah, here they are, right here. Half English, of course. Peter Frampton, Queen. I think that's Sassafras. Yeah, a Welsh hard rock band. Kind of surprised to see them in here, but the more I look at this, the less surprised I am by how they get those tiny little details in. The Heavy Metal Kids, very impressed to see them here. Um, Ian Gillan, yeah. Let's see. Tom Robinson Band are over here. Interesting. You'd expect to see them more kind of up here in the punk new wave pub rock area. Peter Hamill's a solo artist, way over here, and I think way far away from Vandergraaf Generator. Unless I are they over here anywhere? Did I? Um, and then we go up to like mid '70s, late '70s hard rock. Boxer, British Lions. Oh yeah. 10 years later, huh? Funny I'd see. Oh, 10 years after. Um, Budgie. Oh, here's Vandergraaf Generator, a little bit smaller than I'd expect to see him. Nazareth, Wishbone Ash. Um, I guess solo artists are listed pretty close to the band they came from. Like Dave Edmunds, right next to Love Sculpture, even though solo Edmunds and that band are very, very far apart from one another. As a matter of fact, I don't think many of them even have the same. I don't even think there's much overlap in the fan base. Mott the Hoople, um, Tramp. I'm wondering, Savoy Brown, Tramp, huh? What I was wondering about that. Tramp who? Dan Kerwin, Pete Green. Yeah, right next to Fleetwood Mac. That makes sense. Let's see. Okay, getting back down here before we go up, because let's see. Getting more into kind of the crossover territory of blues rock. Fleetwood Mac. Um, oh, Mark Almond. Yeah, all those spin-offs of John Mayall. Yeah. Um, Coliseum, Tempest, right next to them. Yeah, John Heisman. They didn't need to have him on. I mean, great drummer, but he didn't really do any solo material. I don't. I guess they're just trying to link these two together. Led Zeppelin, of course. One of the really major bands, of course, have really big nameplates on here. And going up through the middle here, we have some of the other blues rock, jazz rock initiators like Brian Auger, Graham Bond Organization, and well R&B acts like Spencer Davis Group. And let's see. Yeah, it's interesting how they have. I don't see. Do I see Bluesology here? I don't think I do. But I do see Elton John and, well, John Baldry anyway. They left out the long. Um, yeah, of course, the crossover, the big names of psychedelic blues rock, the late 60s, Explosion, Cream, Traffic, Blind Faith, Jack Bruce, Eric Clapton, John McLaughlin. Yeah, good. Pete Brown. Oblivion Express, huh? Quite separate from Brian Auger there. Probably they probably don't list Trinity, but they virtually do. I mean, they cover that ground pretty well. Bobby Whitlock. Okay. And we got the people. This listing of blues rock, it looks pretty thorough. Although I think the one on the later one was that may have been actually a bit more thorough than this. Like let's see. Okay, this is really really impressive. Chicken Shack, Groundhogs, Dada, Vinegar Joe, Robert Palmer, got that whole family sewn up there. Elkie Brooks is mentioned somewhere else. I think she's way up here. Huh, she's almost she's grouped. She's placed pretty close to the new waivers. Well, she's placed next to Ian Gom from Brinsley Schwartz. What's that hit he had in the United States? I know it's not an evergreen, but it's surprising to think that he actually had a top 20 Billboard hit. Okay, back down to here. Um, let's see. Okay, Sensational Alex Harvey Band. Interesting that they would appear just here. They appear next to Stone the Crows, Maggie Bell, so a bit of like Scottish stuff thrown in. Huh. I'm wondering why Nazareth really belonged over here, but sometimes when I think of Nazareth, I think of Alex Harvey and vice versa. Both Scottish, both that kind of raspy voiced hard rock. The Harvey Band, of course, is a lot more theatrical, campy, and such. Let's see. We have above Vinegar Joe. We have the Sharks, of course, right next to Free. Yeah, the Andy Fraser, Chris Spedding collab initially, anyway. And then right above Chris Spedding is the link between hard rock, it turns out, and pub rock. Because all of a sudden here we're like Brinsley Schwartz, Graham Parker and the Rumor, Dr. Feelgood, Eddie and the Hot Rods. But right next to them, Backstreet Crawler, huh? Some of that mid 70s UK hard rock that came up at the same time as pub rock, except was a bit more faithful to the post-Mail school. Whereas pub rock was more about returning R&B rock to the Alexis Corner, like um, earlier 60s type type mode of like the Downliner sect, bands like that. Anyway, getting back down over here, one band I didn't see in this blues rock cluster was Juicy Lucy, although I did see them on the larger tree from 1990. And so that one might actually be more complete than this one. I wonder if there's anything on here that got left off that one. Like if because sometimes when they revise when they do new editions of something, they'll cut out certain things deemed too minor. And like I'd hope that wouldn't happen with an undertaking like this, but I'd be really impressed if they managed to keep everything and then fill in more of the blanks from say this era. Okay, moving over here, Snafu. Let's see if I see a theme right here. Average white band. Okay, Kokomo. Yeah, I'm seeing a theme. Mid '70s UK funk rock. Um, Chris Farlow was a solo artist. So I'm not so sure about that. During the '70s, he basically just came in to a bunch of bands at the late stage. Michael Chapman, interesting singer songwriter guy. Kind of not really. Well, Chris Woods, Jim Capone, not really grouped in among his own ilk here. Mick Ronson, John Cale, Cockney Rebel. Okay, getting kind of into the glam area, the kind of glammy camp area. Bebop Deluxe, Brian Ferry, Roxy Music. Brian Eno, definitely seeing a theme here. Quiet Sun by Connection, not really musically like a lot of these though. David Bowie, Quiet Sun should be more in the jazz rock. We'll see if they how well that's covered here. Atomic Rooster, About Time. Maybe that should have been over here by like Vandergraaf Generator and the like, but at least we have them. Oh, right by Hawkwind. Interesting. I should go back down and see what this is growing out of here. Okay, so kind of on our left and their right, we have kind of growing more out of the Beatles and the Manfred Mann, the Kinks and the Zombies. We have the Moody Blues, kind of the Moody Blues being the main step towards symphonic rock. Interesting. So they have like the Who being the main step towards hard rock out of the Rolling Stones and the Yardbirds and toward Led Zeppelin. They're doing that. Or the further left you go to like Led Zeppelin. You go kind of center left, you go Cream, Eric Clapton. Interesting. You go center right, you go, or their center right anyway, our center right, you go Moody Blues from the Zombies and Kinks, and that leads you up to symphonic rock or art rock. Uh, the Baker Gurvitz Army mentioned a bit early, but for continuity's sake anyway, right in with other associated acts, Ginger Baker. I wonder if Gun are in here. I don't recall seeing them when I looked at this earlier. Or Three Man Army. We'll see about that. Procol. Okay, so the main links are Moody Blues, Procol Harum, the Move. The Move should have been down here by the Zombies. But actually, the reason they're here is because ELO. Yeah, they're once again they're keeping things together. Yeah, Idle Race, Jeff Lynne, ELO, Move. Okay, and then but really, the continuity would go Moody Blues, Procol Harum, Pink Floyd, and then Jethro Tull. The further kind of out here you go, and then so in this cluster we kind of got some of the more wild elements of psych like Hawkwind, Crazy World of Arthur Brown, The Nice, Davey List, King Crimson. Okay, and then this is pretty much this right along here is the main line of symphonic rock. Um, let's see, Peter Gabriel, Ian Anderson, right close to Jethro Tull, of course. The Strawbs, Sandy Denny. Oh, it looks like we might be getting into some folk rock over here. Yes, another big name played over here. The Earth Band, Gentle Giant, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, UK. Okay, so this is all the main cluster of progressive rock. Genesis, yeah, almost missed them. Anthony Phillips, Henry Cow. I wonder if Hatfield and the North are on here. Um, yeah, Canterbury. Okay, we'll see about that. Let's go back down here and see how. Okay, so if you go further to their right or left, let's just say there. Let's just say further to the right from the outgrowth of the Beatles. Well, you get the Bee Gees, and here you get a bunch of folk rock. Oh, you get the Bee Gees, the Hollies, if you go up here. And I guess this goes up to some pop. And then you go down here into the kind of slump of the right side, you get into some folk rock. Um, they got Argent right down here, just because to keep them close to the zombies, even if they would fit in better, like over here somewhere. Let's see. Okay, going into the folk rock area. Oh, Barclay James Harvest. Well, okay, not really folk rock, but kind of a psychedelic pop band that went more kind of orchestral as time went on. Um, Fairport Convention, Pentangle, Burt Jantz. Oh, Renaissance. Yay. I don't think I had caught that one before. Glad to see them here. I was expecting that up here more. Griffin, Steel Eye Span, John Renborn, Kevin Ayers? Didn't I see him over? Oh no, it was Kevin Coyne I saw over here. Those two. Nah, it's fine. Kevin Coyne's kind of a folk rocker. Soft Machine, Alan Hall, Lindisfarne, Caravan. Interesting to have them right here, although grouping them with Barclay James Harvest is appropriate. Badfinger, Stackeridge, yay! Glad to see them here. Really glad. Bonzo Dog Da Band, or just Bonzo Dog Band. 10cc, Babe Ruth. Okay, Babe Ruth could have been more in the hard rock, or they could have been more like by Stone the Crows, Maggie Bell, Vinegar. They could have been Vinegar Joe. They could have been over there, but whatever. Uh, oh, we're getting into some of the rustic, folksy rock of the early '70s, like Hookfoot. I wonder if like Heads, Hands, and Feet are in here, or Home, or Help Yourself. Um, don't expect too much. Don't make too tall an order. I must say once again, this is very impressive that a music aficionado circa 1979 would have been able to have known about all of this stuff. I don't know if he got to hear it all. Well, he must have been sufficiently acquainted with it, or at least known what most of these bands were about, because of the way they're all placed and everything. It's very thematic. And oh, going back over here above the Hollies, we got incredible string band, Curved Air, cool. Robin Trower, Wild Turkey. Oh yeah, I gotta keep them close to Bloodwine Pig and Jethro Tull, the family connections. Family, Roger Chapman. Uh, both Glenn Cornick and Mick Abrams get solo. I don't know Glenn Cornick much as a solo artist. Heck, Ian Anderson himself didn't become a solo artist till the '80s, but um, he merits as a solo artist, but not as of 1979. That would be later. Audience, said that already. Howard Worth. Burlesque. Oh my God, I am really, really, really impressed. They have Burlesque on here. I wonder if they have Deaf School or the Fabulous Poodles or Easy Street. Yeah, some of those bands that came along just before the new wave. Yeah, or the Doctors of Madness. Like you could say the proto new wave, the class of '76. Yeah, the last class right before the Pistols and the Clash and those bands. Let's see here. Okay. Next to Family, of course, we got Streetwalkers, Charlie Whitney. Yeah. Yeah. Some people consider those two separate entities. Unicorn, impressive. Yeah. Get more, oh, yeah. Got quite a bit of country rock around, English country rock around here. Unicorn, Sutherland Brothers, and Quiver. Oh, and that's clever. They combine the two different logos to acknowledge that Quiver were initially a separate entity doing country rock before they teamed up with the Sutherland Brothers. Um, let's see. Going back down into here, we got more stuff. Oh, we got Robert Wyatt right here. Although, Soft Machine. Huh, so they have some Canterbury and jazz rock dispersed among the folk rock here. Yeah, because they got Caravan here, Soft Machine, and solo stuff. Yeah, Medicine Head, David Essex, Roy Harper. Okay, more folk rock. Yes. Let's see. Donovan, of course. Okay, I guess I should go down here because this would be earlier. Martin McCarthy, Albion Country Band, Ian Matthews, Murray Head. Cool. I'm glad that you acknowledge him. John Miles. Okay, you just won 10 more points right there. I'm so glad you have him here and that you found a place for him. I'd be a little bit lost about where to put him. I guess I'd be more inclined to put him kind of in the in the class of in the proto new wave camp, along with Deaf School and the Doctors of Madness. Yeah, yeah, that wave of bands that came along just before the new wave. Like 6 months before the new wave. Like, okay, Leo Sayer. Yeah, we're getting into some mid 70s. Oh, show tune pop here. Al Stewart, cool. McInnes Flint. Okay, they have them in pub rock. That maybe that should have been a little bit closer, kind of over here, just because it's the tie-ins with the Manfred. I'm not going to complain. David Essex, awesome. Yeah, did some really great albums in the mid 70s. I profiled a track, an epic from one of them during the last 1976 marathon. Going over here, Andy Gibb, ha ha ha. Nick Drake, Ace. Okay, so more pub rock over here. Yeah, Russ Ballard as a solo artist, after he left Argent, recorded some great kind of AOR rock albums. Pete Wingfield, who I was just talking about the other day, yeah, he was in two of my recent profiles. He was in the he was on Jerry Rafferty's Snakes and Ladders, and he was on oh he was on that Al Stewart Modern Times album, which some of you didn't get to see because it got blocked overseas. I noticed it's only some of you are going to have to go over to like library when it gets uploaded over there, yeah, and to watch that. Am I seeing Lake right here? Lake did have a Scottish vocalist. There's some things I'd be really curious to see what got cut off here. I wonder if Catobel are on here. Yeah, Catobel. Come to think of it, I haven't seen Mike Oldfield yet. Let's okay, we're Wings, yeah. Oh, and Splinter, yeah. A George Harrison associated folk pop duo. Charlie, oh God, you rock. Having congratulations for finding a place to fit Charlie into because they were a real anomaly in English rock. Kind of not really fitting into anything that was going on in the UK when they emerged. Well, they're kind of like City Boy in some ways, and we got them right close by. And Lake, kind of also somewhat stylistically similar, although Lake were based in Germany. I don't know how many of their members, beside their vocalist, were from the UK. Hatfield in the North asked about that earlier. I was wondering if this was. I don't. I'm wondering what this is right here. Cut off. Let's see. Going up here, Dire Straits right by Unicorn. Yeah, more of that kind of country, UK country strain. Isotope. Yeah, more. It looks like jazz rock, rather than being clustered anywhere, is just being kind of sprinkled here and there. I wonder if. Okay, so where's Brand X? Did I recall? I don't. Oh, here they are. Yeah, by Genesis. That makes sense. Jade Warrior, awesome. And just put them anywhere since Jade Warrior were kind of a real standalone act. Uh, Not really fitting in with any trends. Steve Hackett, Supertramp, good, good name. Sniffing the Tears, right near Dire Straits, and highly appropriate. Sad Cafe, Sniffing the Tears, and Dire Straits all kind of nearby, and City Boy, all four of them. Yeah, this guy definitely knew what kind of English acts to fit. These are all being like late 70s act, came along during that period, and kind of did the more like adult rock, West Coast influenced sound. amid the new wave acts. Yeah, walked alongside the new wave acts, but catering to performing to a somewhat older audience, I'd imagine. More of a Steely Dan type audience. Steely Dan meets, or in some cases, like Dire Straits, kind of like J.J. Cale influenced. Um, let's see here. Going up. Um, okay, above Genesis and Brand X and Jade Warrior, we have Green Slade. Yeah, prog rock supergroup. Um, we had If in some strange place. Funny enough, we had them. Yeah, I saw If somewhere. Oh, If they're right by Yes. I don't think we have a cluster for UK brass rock, unfortunately. I don't think the UK wing of brass rock was really even recognized until the 2000s. Yeah, you're not going to see like the Greatest Show on Earth and Galliard and Keith Hartley band and Brainchild and Hannibal and Walrus and Heaven and If, of course, you're not all those bands clustered together in one area. But I'm really still impressed how they got some of the new wave of adult rock, if you will, kind of clustered over here. Mike Oldfield, finally, and they put him by Alan Parsons, David Bedford. That's appropriate. Yeah, Rick Wakeman nearby. Backdoor, right by Brand X, appropriate. Rare Bird, Straubs. Um, okay. Above, yes, we got Gentle Giant. We got Egg, Bill Bruford. It really should just say Bruford for now, since he wouldn't really. Yeah. Okay. Seventh Wave found a place to fit them in, but no second hand. Let that one go. Aviator, really impressed. Right by UK, how appropriate. Two super groups of musicians of similar ilk. Yeah, UK. Yeah, kind of prog art rock super groups. Somewhat different though, the two of those. But yeah, I've profiled Aviator on here. Yeah, I love that one. Down, 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 now, 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 down, 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 down. That outro, that song just always plays through my head whenever I see that name, that epic outro. Yeah. Let's see here. Now we're getting toward the top of everything. Well, toward things that were just emerging right up to the date of this being completed in 1979. Gone through all this, we have the pub rock I was mentioning over here. The pub rock kind of to their left, our right, and more of the artsy, glammy stuff on their right, our left. Um, by Bebop Deluxe, we got Bill Nelson as although he wouldn't become a solo artist until like the 80s. He just did that. He was just doing the Red Noise thing, right? Is this? But I guess they knew that the artist knew that Bill Nelson was going to be a solo entity pretty soon. Okay, and let's see how thorough, how complete is he with New Wave? Um, the Stranglers. Oh, got Nuts over here. Nuts, another hard rock band, probably should have been over here somewhere. Yeah, hard rock band from Liverpool. Yeah, one of the few significant bands to emerge from Liverpool during the early 70s in that kind of dark period before Deaf School and Nasty Pop and The Real Thing. You could say are the three acts that kind of breathed new life into the Liverpool scene and paved the way for the some of the embryonic bands that emerged from that city, like Big in Japan and such, and ultimately spawned the Big Three that spawned that whole new wave of Liverpool bands in like 1979, 1980. Okay, above Bebop Deluxe, we got Sailor. Oh, thank you for getting them tucked in here. I guess we're not going to have Deaf School though. It would be cool to have them tucked in, but right around here, 801, Phil Manzanera, 801. Um, okay, Magazine, awesome. Buzzcocks, right next to that goes together like, yeah. Susie and the Banshees, Elvis Costello, The Damned, Squeeze, Joe Jackson, The Police, Sham 69. Okay, so we've kind of got the more poppy outgrowth of punk over here. We got kind of the more arty outgrowth over here. Well, with some exceptions. Generation X arguably could go over here. We got over here, we got Wire, Ultravox, The Clash, Generation X, The Band, as in banned from the airwaves. Yeah, not an act that I've spent too much time on simply because they didn't do an album. They did like a couple of singles. They were kind of pop punk. They had at one point they had a couple of members from Griffin pass through their lineup, and they were documented quite a bit though on TV around the time. I think they had at least one Top of the Pops appearance. Kind of a nerdy looking front guy. Oh, right next to Graham Tchaikovsky, 999, The Rich Kids, The Fall, XTC, Chelsea, The Jam, Sham 69, The Sex Pistols, of course, The Drones. Interesting that the Drones would make it in. Right next to the Buzzcocks. So he knew about the early Manchester. Yeah, he has the early Manchester new wave group to get like close together. Yeah, the Buzzcocks magazine being pretty much top of the heap of Manchester at that point, with the Drones kind of like a second or third wheel at that point. Oh, where's how about Slaughter and the Dogs? I don't think I'm going to see them here. No, I would have seen them already. The Motors, right next to Graham Tchaikovsky. Um, yeah, I guess that covers it. Quite a thorough list for its tree for its time, and yeah, it covers so much ground. Oh, they didn't. Come to think of it, they didn't have any like pure electronic on here. Although there were only a few acts. Oh, I didn't see Gong on here, but I guess they're more since they were based in France for the most part, and like I guess it's kind of like a controversy as to whether they are. Did I see Man on here? Huh. I can't remember if I did. Or yeah, the Neutrons, or heck, more of that Welsh stuff, come to think of it. Yeah. Some of the folk rock that was uncovered during the 2000s, like Trees, Forest, Blonde on Blonde, Bread, Love and Dreams, I guess probably just hadn't really been brought to the artist's attention as of 1979. But still, this is an amazing work, and I'm really impressed that he was able to have such an all-encompassing knowledge of British rock circa 1979 to put this together. And I could only imagine how much work this must have taken fitting all these nameplates together. Yeah. Um, thank you so much. This has this defines me in a lot of ways. Yeah. From the start, I've always just been obsessed with the evolution of British rock from its foundations in the beat boom on up through the final play out of new wave via like sophistopop, which this it would be the subsequent edition of this from 1987 that would cover more of that. Yeah, the mid 80s and such. I can do that in another segment, though. In the meantime, I suggest that you go over to my directory on Rate Your Music and check out, scroll down the page. You see, yeah, I'm Zaragon on Rate Your Music, rateyourmusic.com/tilde Zaragon. You scroll down this page and you can see I have all my the United Kingdom artists or British Isles, you could say, artists that I value and respect. Have links to all their pages here on RYM, grouped into year year clusters, and then from like 1965 to 1988, thereabouts anyway. And then I have song ranking info, Ruby, I was originally calling purples amethyst. Now I call them sapphires because there is such a thing as purple sapphire. It's easier. It rolls off the tongue better. Rubies and sapphires. Yeah. And I explained that. And then site guide, the eras, and that international site map for albums from all these other parts of the world. Um, and English music from A to Z, starting alphanumeric, starting from numbers to, and where you can pull up any of these pages, and like A, for instance, and it'll bring, if you're signed in, you can go to the, you can see the comments box where I post all links to all of the English A acts that I've done, that I've profiled on my channel, and the same thing with the B directory, the C directory, and so forth. Yeah, and then you just scroll down these pages. Yeah, get a load of the GIF first, for to see the history of the English A acts run right by you. Yeah, and Amazing Blondell, Alison Moyet, Alan Bound, Alan Hall, Aviator. I gotta take Apple off there. They're actually a Welsh band. I later found out. And then go down here and just in alphabetical order. What you do with these is this is basically an exhaustive directory of English A albums. These 6 pages right here, and in alphabetical order. And if you see an album that interests you, see it's the name of the band, the album title, the year, date, some descriptor, genre, classifications. And this is basically a red. Everyone knows that red's the tastiest candy color. So that's a song that, and you can tell by the emoticon, that means that I consider it like the best, one of the best, the multi playlist worthy, the songs that should be hit, the songs I'd recommend for like for playlists and radio play and whatnot. Um, just highlight, right click, and search Google. I'm using Opera here, so on like a Firefox, you can just go you can just right click and it'll say, and go down to like search Google for quote, and then, and okay, that's too vague of a title, but let's see. Yep, you see, you highlight, search with Google search, and it brings up, and the first return you're likely to get is the um, in your secondary tab is the link to the YouTube upload of that song, A Certain Ratio, Knife Slits Water. And you can do that with most of these. Yeah. Flock of Seagulls. Yep. Oh, Bob Dylan did a tune with that name. So, well, you could go. Oh well, huh? Damn you. Anyway, yeah. And so here we go. Huh, anyway, and the same with B. Yeah. See, I have all the profiles I've done. You can only see this comments box if you're logged into, if you're signed into Rate Your Music. Yeah, same thing. B Movie, Babe Ruth, The Babies, Backdenkel, Backdoor, Backstreet Crawler, Bad Company, Badger. Badger were on one of those trees, although I don't recall reading them off just now. Bad Manners, Baker Gurvitz Army. Yeah, yeah, just a thorough run through of UK rock from like the mid 60s to the mid to late 80s there. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I will profile the bigger tree soon. Yeah, until then, this is Aragon, the world's most ear travel trimaximalist. See me on Rate Your Music, and stay tuned for more profile listening commentary parties on this channel.